Hello there. So this is Dark Souls. I've talked about it during this auto ethnographic experience a lot. I already made one video on it actually as well for the other series that we did for Sally Plays. But I thought it was time to get past the tutorial and I can finally discuss why I love this game so much. Okay. So I have played this a lot, and usually when I play this, I do it as a speed run, I guess. I try to play as fast as I can. Usually I would just run past all these enemies uh, and get to the next boss as soon as possible. But I'm going to play this not how... I can't really play it as if I was playing it like I'd never played it before. I'm playing it like you should... They intended to play it, I guess. Does that make sense? Sure. So, one of the reasons that and one of the things that people say about Dark Souls, is that it's incredibly realistic. People say that's why it's so good. I wouldn't say it's realistic at all, seeing as you can shoot fireballs at people, but and it involves a lot of magic. But I would say about Dark Souls is that it's very satisfying. So the way Dark Souls works is all your actions are tied to that green bar in the top corner, your stamina. Every time I roll, every time I attack, every time I'm attacked, that's depleted. And the real way that Dark Souls works is it's about managing that stamina. Not so much health, although health is very important, but managing time and stamina. See, jeez. You can't attack a boss all day. You can. This guy has quite a bit of stamina, so he can put a few hits in. You also can't dodge all day. I wish you could. Actually, no, I don't, because then it would be a bad game. But the entire game is based around managing this stamina bar, unless you're doing a speed run or you're using magic or using range. But for the most part, speed run. Anyway. Most of the strategy involves taking your time as well. This is a very slow-paced game, of course, unless you're doing a speed run. But you have to take your time. Oh god, here we go. And also, there's a cool dragon right there. Actually, I don't think that's a dragon. Spoilers. I believe it might be a drake. Anyway, so at the start of this game, one of the things that it's got nothing to do... Oh, jeez. I might die here, actually. Wow, I narrowly avoided death just then. I was not paying enough attention. I was thinking about how much I like the items in this game. So... Oh, God, here we go. Oh, no. Oh, jeez, that was close. I nearly died then. So these bonfires are... There's a lot of meta-narrative going on in this game. I guess the bonfires are... literally and figuratively a beacon of hope, in that the way this works is these bonfires, when you sit down, you'll recover all your health, but all these enemies will respawn, which leads for a lot of playing through levels over and over again. But what it means is, if you want to get through a section, it means you have to absolutely perfect it. You have to know, you end up knowing every section inside and out, because you'll end up repeating it over and over again. The first time I did this section that I'm about to do, going up this castle and stuff, I think it took me 3 hours. And it's the very first section in the game, but clearly I was very determined. Anyway, another aspect of this game that I wanted to point out before I get stuck into the auto ethnography and actually playing through it is a storytelling. So the way this game starts is it tells you this story about this land filled with dragons and death and magic, and then it dumps you here, and you don't really know how this is connected to that story at the start until about 3/4 of the way through the game, I think, something like that, is when it all starts to tie together. So the only way you can learn about the story, which is really interesting, is some NPCs will sometimes tell you a bit, but item descriptions is how it's done. Now this has been done in a couple of other games, and I think Final Fantasy 13 kind of tries to do it. Basically, when games, there is a story and it kind of drip feeds it to you, but if you want the real story, you have to actually read. Some games, like Final Fantasy 13, do that by making you read walls of text. And this, it's from discovering items that will tell you a bit about the world. So this is an example. This is what starts you off. So the dark sign, it signifies a cursed undead. Those branded with it are born after death, but will one day lose their mind and go hollow. So that's basically how the game works. When you die, you come back to life, but you will slowly go hollow, which means you'll turn into a zombie and you will go insane. And what that means for the game is that you'll revive and everything will be okay, but you'll lose everything. But there's also that meta narrative of that's what's going in the story as well. And there's a lot of things like that. I really don't want to spoil this for anyone who happens to watch this and hasn't played Dark Souls. I really don't want to spoil the story because discovering these things on your own is so good. One of the things I failed to mention at the start is that in terms of, satisfying combat that I was talking about, there's no other game that I've played that is as rewarding, I think. Beating a boss that you've been trying to defeat for hours. I think I spent about a week playing every day on one boss. For those who know who it is, it's Ornstein and Smough. I spent a hell of a lot of time doing that, and then when I beat that, I went, oh my god, I'm the best. I think I might actually be a pro gamer. No, but I was like, oh my god, this is the best moment of my gaming life, beating this incredibly hard boss. And it wasn't even the last boss. I still had like a quarter of the game to go, and then when I finished that, there was a whole another level of pride after beating this game. I wonder if I just quickly. Oh jeez, I forgot how to use items. Wow, I somehow didn't die just then. Anyway, there we go. That's what I meant to do. Good. So this might seem a bit simple, apart from when I nearly died, but that's only because these are like the simplest enemies to beat in the game. There's no denying it. No matter how many times you play it, and no matter how good you get at it, this game is very, very hard. And it's definitely the selling point that this game had. I think this game came out at the same time as Skyrim did, and they kind of competed, and Skyrim, very accessible game. And so much so that it's the exact opposite of this. Very, very inaccessible. But I think the only way that you can really there's no playing this game for the first time and being good at it. Oh god. Are these guys following me? It's very difficult to commentate while playing. Oh jeez. So that's not. Well, no. It's forgot one of the charming features of this is what I just did then, getting enemies caught around your legs. Now, unfortunately, they got rid of that in Dark Souls 2. It's very disappointing. So, as you can see just then, there are some enemies like these guys that will just keep their shield up. Luckily, you have a kick. You have about, I'd say, probably 6 attacks with every weapon. And every weapon actually has a different moveset, which is so good. You don't just have swords. You have spears, you have axes, you have two-handed, everything else. And also, you might have seen just then, enemies can heal. Not all of them, but these guys are just bastards. Anyway, this is one of the most satisfying gameplay experiences. When you finish it as well, you end up every single game you play afterwards, you try to analyze it from the same perspective that you played Dark Souls. It doesn't always work because the Dark Souls combat and gameplay experience just isn't the same. It's not as well thought out. But what can you do? It's hard to top perfection. That's right, I just called Dark Souls perfection. So I'm about to get to the first real boss of the game as well. And there is a way to do that. There's a quick way. There's an easy way and there's a hard way. I think for time's sake, let's do the easy way. It actually looks really bad if you're watching it. So maybe I'll bite the bullet and I'll if I die, it'll be fine. Jeez. So oh jeez. very strategic move here. We have to make sure that we kill these guys, otherwise they're gonna shoot arrows at us when we try to beat this boss. So the boss arena as well in this part is this little bridge here. Oh god, if I stuff this up, if I die during the very first boss of Dark Souls during an assignment, that'll be terrible. But it's fine. Anyway, now is a good time, now that we have this awesome view, to talk about level design. So, as well as being great gameplay, the level design in this is probably the best of any game that I've ever played. So one of the things about the sequel, but not this Dark Souls 1, is that it uses impossible space. This game does not. The level, everything you can see here, you can go there. So down there, that's where we were running around before. That cathedral, we're going to be going up there. That cathedral where I'm facing is where we need to go. Over there is Sen's Fortress, where we'll be going later on in the game. I can't remember what that building is, but anyway, the reason the level design is so good, because I think it's called like a honeycomb level design. Everything loops back on itself is the way that it works. So if you look all the way down there, is another level completely that we get to later in the game. Over across that bridge, if you go into that center pylon and go down, that's where that first bonfire is, and it's a lot easier to go back and forth when everything loops back on itself. And also the levels in this, I'll get started on this fight now. They not only loop back on itself, but the vertical scaling is incredible. So this is the very top of the wall. Actually, up there is the very top. You can see there's a big walled city. That's a completely different city. That's the top. We're kind of like in the middle. And going down, I think there's 3 or 4 layers down after this, which is pretty crazy. Here we go, here's the boss. So all these bosses, very intimidating. When you start and you go, holy shit, how am I supposed to beat these guys? Like that is basically the idea. I might die. Frame rate's dying a bit. Oh jeez. I blocked that somehow. I don't know how I managed to block this guy's attacks, but I don't know what this. Oh man, jeez, that was I swear there weren't any tracking overheads in this game. That was kind of a tracking overhead. Anyway, staying close to enemies, very good idea. Staying close to bosses. Oh god. So that's a death, first death. So I lost 1800 souls during that, which is what you use to level up. If I want those back, I have to run back to where I was, which I'll do, and I will actually run through it. Hopefully I don't die during this. I just let go of the controller to scratch my head. So I have to go back to that very same point if I want those back. If I die before I get there, then they're gone and that's it, and then you'll end up having to run and get the souls you lost on that try, and so on and so forth. And what that does, it makes you learn. So one of the things I saw about Dark Souls, I wish I made this up, but I saw it on a NeoGAF thread about Dark Souls. Oh, I unequipped my sword. Is that this game it was sold as being, and people tell you that the main thing about this game is that you die a lot, and that is true, but it shouldn't be the main thing. If it's the main thing to you, then you're playing Dark Souls wrong, basically. The main thing shouldn't be that you're dying, which you will. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be dying a lot. I'm saying that what you should be doing is is not saying, oh, I'm dying a lot. You should be learning from each death. Oh, jeez. I just dropped my controller. I think it's because I was making such a great point. Anyway, you can see that as well, that Windows Live is not signed in because Windows Live is terrible, which hosts Dark Souls on PC. They're finally moving over to Steam soon, but anyway. So I'm going to do this the easy way now. Not every boss has one of these. I'd say there's probably 2 bosses in the game that there's maybe 3. There are some bosses, I'll just say that there are easy ways of beating them, but mostly every boss in this is freaking hard. There are There are a few easy ones that are just easy anyway. But anyway, that's the easiest way to do it. It's the same way that you beat the first boss in the game. Well, this is the first real boss, but it's the way that you beat the tutorial boss, which I think is quite clever. That I hadn't really thought about that until now. Oh god, here we go. Oh god, we got hit. Okay, that's fine. We just need. It is. We are laming this out. Oh god, I can't see. We're dead. No, it's fine. Anyway, but I suggest everyone plays this. There might be something else on my list that I had to talk about. I think that's it. I think from this point on, I'll just kind of play it, and I'll tell you how I'm feeling. This is. We can try to take on. When's the next boss? I can't remember who the next boss is. It's probably fine. So, there's also a lot. This game, the online community of this game, also sells it, because there are a lot of cases where you might not. Oh jeez. This is oh no, we didn't die. Usually I do this a lot better. It's probably from talking. I'm sorry. But there's no. Oh, okay. I remembered what this is. Oh no, we're dead. Was that dead? Oh, that's dead. Fine. Anyway, I can wrap this video up soon. What I was gonna say was something. I'll remember it in a second. Okay, I can't remember what my last point was. I'll remember it, and I'll write it down in the video description. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you consider yourself, I think everyone should play this at some point. You can get it on sale for $5 on Steam, so there's no excuse unless your excuse is that you don't have $5. But I recommend everyone play this at least once. I wouldn't expect that everyone play this all the way through, but anyone who enjoys games and wants to learn a bit more about video games, how they should work, and what I consider to be the perfect video game, play it. It's awesome. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.